Hey friends, I'm Jared and I'm with Pastor Sam, and we're going to be talking about the Sunday gathering as All People's Church. There's lots of things maybe to unpack on what Sunday gatherings look like. You may have heard I go to church or I go to the worship service or lots of different things. Sam, what is the Sunday gathering?
Well, we define a Sunday gathering as the Sunday gathering is our weekly family reunion of all our MCs or missional communities to worship Jesus, be spiritually refreshed, and equipped for our mission, while also welcoming those who are far from God.
So Sam, you just unpacked. You're going to unpack a little bit about the Sunday gathering, but tell me a little bit about what this family reunion is of MCs.
Yeah, I realize that's kind of a weird term to say, family reunion. You don't usually say Sunday services. Well, family reunion, we want to be clear that just like in the New Testament, when you look at the end of Romans 16 and 1 Corinthians 16, you see this picture where there's little house churches that looks like they had leadership over each house. You see Paul naming these different people in these different homes in Romans 16. But yet, corporately together, when they all gather together, there's this picture that they are the Church of Rome.
Right.
So similarly, we are All People's Church. Okay, we're an autonomous church, but within our church, we have almost like mini churches churches within them. So Sunday gathering is when all of our people come together at one time.
Gotcha. So when you say all of our people coming together, you mean being a church of missional communities, not just a church that has some missional communities that compete with other programs?
Right. What do you mean by that?
Okay, so when I say programs or missional communities, so if we're a church of missional communities, that it's one of the primary ways that we display the glory of God from the Sunday gathering, if that is any indication.
Right? So like missional communities are one of the most one of our primary means of making disciples and essential to the very structure and life of our church. And so it's not just something that we kind of tag on, like a church can add, all these different little ministries. But this is core to our church. And so we're a church of a bunch of missional communities that gathers. And if we don't gather together, we're not really a church, because the church has to ultimately come together.
Right.
To be actually part of a church.
Sure. And so when speaking about what a Sunday gathering is, you talk about gathering for the purposes of glorifying Jesus, being spiritually engaged, and equipping for mission. Can you maybe that's kind of maybe a loaded question, but can you maybe unpack a little bit of that for us?
So the purpose of our Sunday gatherings is we really try to take our Bibles and look carefully. All the times that New Testament talks about the people of God coming together, what's the purpose? What are they trying to do? And we found that we see at least three things that are primarily stick out, and that's that they're coming together to worship God,
right?
But also that they are being spiritually refreshed. They're being filled.
Sure.
And then they're also being equipped. And so we look at this picture that pastors, our job is to equip the saints for the work of ministry. So when everyone comes together, it's kind of like this: the saints are coming into the barracks, or they're coming into the huddle, and we're getting the plays, we're giving the training, equipping, so that when we go and we scatter, then we can go into our individual missions that God has called us, where we work, play, and live. And so we come together weekly, get equipped, refreshed. We worship Jesus together. We enjoy this time together as a family reunion, kind of all these like little intermediate, the immediate families kind of coming together, and then we leave.
Sure. I think that's fantastic analogy of maybe this practice before the game. So we're not just spectators, we're actually part of the game, but we're actually being trained and equipped.
That's right. Yeah, to double click on that, Jesus did not save us so that we could go to a service. Right. He saved us to be a people set apart for His own purposes, for His mission. And so we are. So we want to be very clear that Sunday is not the end game. Our goal is not to get a lot of people to come to sit in a building to hear me talk or hear Jared talk and to sing a couple songs. But it's a means to the ultimate and to glorify, to worship Jesus, to be filled, to enjoy Him in our relationship with Him, and to ultimately be equipped for the mission He's called for us on.
That's great. Tell me a little bit about what Sunday might consist of. It doesn't, and I don't mean like what time do we get together, but what are some aspects or some components that will most certainly take place on a Sunday morning gathering or Sunday evening gathering, Sunday.
Right. Yeah. So during gatherings, there's going to be a lot of different components, but what is going to be central is that the Bible will be central.
Yeah.
The word does a work, and we just believe that, and we want to make sure we are we want to encounter Jesus through the word. And so there's going to be sermons, there's going to be teaching through the Bible. There's also going to be a time where we sing to Jesus together as a congregation. There will be a time where we celebrate the Lord's Supper, confess sin, and also something that really excited, we really value is this ministry time, where at the end we will have time where men and women can, designated pastors and leaders and deacons will be at designated areas throughout the building, and people can come up for prayer and ministry. And so we believe all those different components in our Sunday gathering will ultimately produce the fruit of worshiping, being refreshed, and being equipped.
That's fabulous. I get encouraged when I think about that and what it means to participate together with the people of God, all peoples of God.
Yeah.
Maybe lastly, maybe you can explain a little bit. There's a line in this definition of Sunday gathering about welcoming those who are far from God,
Right.
Specifically those who are either far off and are brought near, or a place where you can come, or like come as you are mentality. What does that look like? Can you maybe fill that in?
Yeah, so when you look at 1 Corinthians 14, you see this picture that, this is kind of controversial, but they talk about tongues, and you shouldn't all speak in tongues because the unbelievers who are among you will think you're crazy, right? If you're just all blabbering and there's no interpreter, that's another conversation. But what you see from that passage, and you see from other passages, is that the Sunday gathering is primarily a family time. It's like a family meal, and historically they would meet together and enjoy a meal together. So it's a family affair. But they know that among them are going to be skeptics, people who are questioning, people who are among them who aren't yet born again and haven't trusted in Jesus, but they think they are, or they're imposters. And so when we put in our definition of what's a Sunday gathering, we say welcoming people who are far from God, is that we want our service to not only edify the saints and build us up and refresh us, but also we want to be careful with our language, the way we speak and communicate things. We don't want to always use insider language. We want to explain ourselves. We're trying to use more simple language, like Christianese. We want to be careful that we don't alienate people by little things that we may do that aren't necessarily even biblical, but they're more cultural, more American Christian culture. And so we're gonna address unbelievers. We're gonna share the gospel. We're going to make sure that they know that they're not judged, that they're welcome to be among us, and that they're loved, and we're happy that they're there.
Awesome. That's fabulous. We hope that as you participate in Sunday gatherings, that you might be encouraged in the Word, blessed, and continue this message of reconciliation to the world around us. We pray that our weekly gathering might refresh you as members, as maybe somebody who's coming for the very first time, but also that you might be equipped and feel that you are better able to steward the grace of God to the neighbors in your workplace and anyone around you. Thank you.